Well, guys, from Seaside, just setting the tone for a wonderful morning. You're fabulous. That's Max there on the keyboard, Bob on the saxophone, Jerry on the drums, and that's Tom on the bass. And good morning, Seaside. It's a joy. What a joy it is to be with you on this fabulous day. Truly a day in which the creative expression of God has its way in our individual lives here at Seaside. That creative expression of the divine is what is moving through Seaside at this time. It is, it was Fat Tuesday, and so the world, or at least around the world, there were Mardi Gras all over the place. Our Mardi Gras is March 14th, but I got to tell you what we're doing right here is taking 40 days leading up to Easter and doing an exciting creative expression. We have got a lot of creativity in store for you, and so to get things rolling, I want to bring out our light holder. We're a firm believer here at Seaside that it's all about consciousness, and so today our spiritual practitioner is Sandra Jenkins, and you'll find her back there in our prayer corner where you put in your prayer requests, and she just sits for the next hours with her eyes closed, not looking at getting anything, but just to be a conduit for that spirit to flow. And if you ever see me gazing off to the right, it's because I'm looking there for a spiritual hit. I'll tell you what, right now what I'd like to do is invite you to stand, say hello to the person next to you, and join us in singing our congregational song. That's Rebecca Jade. How blessed we are to have you leading us in song. Yes, right. Woo, there we go. It is absolutely wonderful for sure. So I see the flowers are gorgeous. Elizabeth Burmeister, your son Jim knew it was your 85th birthday today. The flowers are here as a result of his love for you. Also, Jim, I see you made arrangements for cake for all of us. So thank you and your family for that. So we're looking forward to it. But I'll tell you what, you don't get your cake for a while because we got some deep work to do. And we got a wonderful spiritual practitioner to take us to that deep place. And that is Nancy Devaney. Nancy.
Oh, just taking a deep breath in a moment or two to go deep within. Deep within. What a joy it is to gather here at Seaside on Sunday morning and just feel the vibration of love and care and healing and knowing that this is our place of meeting our sisters and brothers who think all alike about God and the spiritual place we have in this world. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to come on Sunday morning where we can learn and live and celebrate a little bit more and a little bit more. And this morning I am so happy to be here with these wonderful people who sing to us and talk to us and bring our spirits up. I'm grateful for Dr. Christian here as God speaks through him and lets us know and feel what it is to be with Spirit. And in this gratitude, in this presence, here and now, I let it go and say, and so it is.
God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. Thank you, Rebecca Jade, for grounding us in spirit and for the call to worship. Thank you, Nancy Devaney, for grounding us in spirit also. God is so good to me. God is so good to each and every one of us. And that's why we come here on Sunday in remembrance that we are living this joyful life together with our like-minded people. So as we come together as one, I would like to welcome you if you are new here, and welcome to your new family. There is a welcome packet in the family room. I invite you to pick one up, and in there is a coupon that you can get, actually a free CD of the service, and take Seaside home with you. What a wonderful expression for the week. My name is Reverend Lori McMacken, and on Wednesdays, I am one of the leaders of the Wednesday night gathering, Going Within. On the first and third Wednesday of the month is Reverend Debbie McDonald, and on the second and fourth is myself, Reverend Lori McMacken. And I invite you to join us this Wednesday. I am going to be sponsoring the Dances of Universal Peace in my service, and this is a spiritual practice where we practice simple songs and dance honoring all paths to God. Our first dance is going to be on the 14th, March 14th, with Christine Stevens and myself leading the dances. And this week, one of my musicians is a dance leader. He is a concert violinist, and he'll be opening your heart if you come to the service. Also, I will be speaking about loving boundaries and a way to make choices in your life from authentic wholeness. Today is the fourth Sunday of the month, so we will have a wall of prayer. So after the service, if you would like to have a spiritual mind treatment, there'll be a wall of practitioners here to serve you. And if you would like to put a prayer in the prayer request box, it's in the back by Sandra Jenkins, who is holding the light, and we will pray over your prayer request. So today's topic is creativity, and what a wonderful topic for Reverend Christian, for he is that expression of creativity in his own life. And I've decided to read from the mother of creativity, Julia Cameron, in the book called The Artist's Way, A Spiritual Path, Creativity. So I invite you to close your eyes as I read to you her words of wisdom on creativity. If you think of the universe as a vast electrical sea in which you are immersed and from which you are formed, opening to your creativity changes you from something bobbing in that sea to a more fully functioning, more conscious, more cooperative part of the ecosystem. The heart of creativity is an experience of the mystical union. And it does not matter which way you think of it. Creativity leads to spirituality, or spirituality leading to creativity. The Creator made us creative. Our creativity is our gift from God, and our use of it is our gift to God. Accepting this bargain is the beginning of true self-acceptance. And when we open ourselves up to exploring our creativity, we open ourselves up to God's good, orderly direction. As we open our creative channel to the Creator, many but gentle but powerful changes are to be expected. Our creative dreams and yearnings come from a divine source. And as we move towards our dreams, we move towards our divine divinity. So I invite you to stay with me in the light as I recognize that divine divinity within each and every person here. I recognize God as that one life and that one mind, that one seed of creativity that's always expressing itself in all and through all. It is the multiplicity into the one mind of God. It is the essence of life. For I know that my life is the life of God. For all that God is, I am. I'm the expression and the instrument of the divine. I am the essence of goodness and wholeness and oneness and love. I am that creative expression of life. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each and every person here in the sanctuary, that each person is a unique expression of God. Each person is individualized. Each person has their own personal gifts and talents to give to the world, to give to God, to give to each other. And what I know right here and right now, that Reverend Christian Sorensen is that conduit for spirit. He is the expression of life. As he speaks to our hearts, our minds, our souls, we open up to his message, to his words, knowing that this enhances our creativity, our love for God, and our love for life. And I'm grateful that we come together as one to remember this truth about ourselves and our life. As I release my word into the law of mind, knowing that it is done, and so it is.
Good morning, Seaside.
Good morning.
It is my absolute honor to introduce our guest artist for today. I only had the pleasure of getting to meet her this morning, but as I understand it, she's been here many, many times, and hopefully you all will be moved by her music, as I was already in the earlier service and hearing them rehearse this morning. So if you are moved by her music, please see her afterwards. She has a table set up, and she can share her music with you. And without further ado, please help me welcome Miss Margaret Owens.
I also give free hugs, so anybody that wants one of those too, you can come see me in the back.
Didn't turn out like you planned, and you feel left behind. Note the tightening of your grip and the closing of your mind. I can only hope you'll dance regardless of the circumstance. The sand will shift, the tide will turn. Hold fast to who you are. Be happy anyway. Be happy anyway. The good and bad in life will come to pass, for they do not come to stay. Be happy anyway. Be happy anyway. hopeful seed. Turn away from the choking need to stare at what's not wanted. There's a new picture out there. Be happy anyway. Be happy anyway. The good and bad in life will come to pass, for they do not come to stay. Be happy anyway. Be happy anyway. Maybe you have the right to sing the blues. Oh, but you also have a mind that's free to choose. The headlines, they are changing, and the clouds are gonna clear. So start speaking what you're dreaming of instead of what you fear. Be happy anyway. Be happy anyway. There is so much there to share within you. Come on then, right now, I dare you. Be happy anyway. Be happy anyway. The good and bad in life will come to pass, for they do not come to stay. Be happy anyway. Be happy anyway.
And that is Margaret Owens. Oh my goodness, giving us a great message. Be happy anyways. Boy, I'm sure I can work that into this morning's message somehow, for sure. Oh, what a beautiful creative expression of the divine you are. Thank you. Whew. And this morning is about being that creative divine expression, and we just got to witness that. Creativity is where it's at, and I want to start with this wonderful line from Rumi that says, I've spent many days stringing and unstringing my instrument, and I've yet to sing the song I came to sing. Ooh, is right. I mean, listen to that. You know, we're so busy trying to get it right, make it perfect, that we do not allow our creative expression to have its way in our life. We're so busy stringing the instrument, unstringing, getting it just, I'm going to get it just before I get going. No. Be happy anyway and go for that. Do that. Express that in your life and in your world. That is about spiritual living. I mean, spiritual living is trusting the grace of God. And really, spiritual living is allowing the grace of God to take you forward. It's not about manipulating, controlling, or forcing something into place. It is about allowing that grace to take care of all your needs in an orderly kind of manner. And it usually shows up before you even realize that you have need of what showed up in your life. And so because of that, we're spending the next 40 days working on creativity around here. Because I'm a firm believer that creativity helps move you to an area that has yet been explored. You know, it takes you to the edge, and then it's beyond that edge that you begin to bring forth something new. And I love the arts, the performing arts, the creative arts, any kind of expressive art moves you beyond just stringing and unstringing that instrument. It gets you moving in your life. You know, there was a junior church teacher who asked her kids one day, okay, so what do we know about God? And this one little kid's hand shot up and said, I know, God's an artist. He said, really? How do you know that? Well, he said, you know, our Father who does art in heaven. Ooh, it's those kids somehow, man, they got it figured out in their life. And so that's why within our junior church, it's important for us to teach our kids how to think and not what to think. Because soon enough in life, we're going to get out there and people are going to tell you how to think and what dogma to hold on to and what creeds to hold on to and how to behave and how to socially fit in. And what is important is to learn at an early age on how it is to think and not lose the creative connection of our soul and our spirit and our self-expression. You know, Albert Einstein, in case we don't want to take the wisdom from the kids, take it from a great mind. How's that? And he said, the two greatest days in one's life. First is the day you were born, and the second day is when you figure out why. Why were you born? It's to sing that song anyway. It is to be able to express yourself anyway. Not get caught up in all the concerns. I was blessed or fortunate. I was born in Hollywood and raised in Hollywood, went to the schools in North Hollywood High. And so there was not, let's say, as much judgment in that creative artsy kind of expression in which I grew up. I mean, it didn't matter whether you were a surfer dude who paddled out every morning before school or a lowrider who cruised Van Nuys Boulevard on Wednesday night. You know, it didn't matter whether you were an exceptional athlete or a brilliant academician. It didn't matter whether you were white or African American or Hispanic or Asian. It didn't matter whether you were a thespian, which was one of the things I loved. It was like it was in that place that you were accepted, whether you were straight, gay, bisexual, transgender. What mattered was the soul that was inside your being, and that is what counted for who you were in the world in which you walked. It is being able to express that creative self without concern about what the world is thinking and stepping forth. And so whatever your preference is, just as long as you weren't harming somebody, let it come out, because that becomes your instrument. That becomes your creative expression. And it's about being able to walk this world with your diverse expression. And it's not about tolerating one's expression. It is about embracing the diversity and the uniqueness and the joy and the love that is coming through you because you have been placed here to sing a song. That's creativity. Yes, so I think the creative stuff, the artsy stuff, I believe art is what's just beyond the words. I think art is what picks up where the language leaves off. I believe what we need are more individuals who are inspired to do the impossible, are not caught up in their biases and saying, okay, this is the way it is, but they're willing to be creative and do it anyway. Not concerned about what you think or what you think, but you know what? This is who I am, and if you get it, that's great. If not, that's okay. Go find a place that is your expression, your self-expression, and be who it is you have come here to be. Which is why, we are committing the next 40 days here at Seaside to being a creative expression. We have gifted you, when you came into the service today, this wonderful book on the 40 days of creativity. Did you get that? Our practitioners came together, and with Debbie McDonald, who heads up our education, along with Steve Daw, who laid it out, and they put down in paper what we're doing the next 40 days around here. We have got 40 days leading up to Easter, and what I want you to be is that creative expression for God to have expression in your life and in your world. And so we put down thoughts, ideas, and processes every day. So I want to encourage you guys to be on the same page I'm on, and the same page as the person that is next to you. There's good stuff in here. I'm going to read to you from the first paragraph. You had this great writer. Oh, happened to be me. It's kind of fun to do the impossible, is what Disney said. Disney was nominated 55 times for an Academy Award and won over 20 of them, more than anybody else. I just saw that this morning. I thought I'd throw that out. First service didn't get that. But okay, so where am I? Using your imagination sure beats having other people use yours against you. Anybody ever try to tweak your thinking to get you to feel belittled, not good about yourself? Like, oh, you suck. No. It's about using your imagination so the media, the world, the headlines, anybody in a position of authority doesn't use it for you or against you to get them to do what they want. I was getting carried away. I didn't mean to do that. But anyway. So use your imagination sure beats having other people use it against you. But when you are overworked and underplayed, you become susceptible to the loud and subtle directions that the world slips you. Reclaiming your creativity reopens your direct channel to the unfiltered, inspirational source. That's what I'm seeking over the next 40 days with you, is to open that channel so your creative force can come through in a way, in a manner in which it has not come through heretofore. or a way in which it has been stopped because, you know what, I had to make a living. You know, my passion and my dharma, it came to an end. You know, I outgrew it. I got old, you know. Well, that's okay. That happens. But it doesn't mean life's over. No, it means you step on your next track and the next thing that is yours to do. Well, I don't know what it is. Well, that's what this creativity stuff is for. And so you can begin to stir up that pot and feel that and sense that and be that in your life and in your world. Because Spirit wants to move through you. It wants to express through you. That is what it does. And so you may get stuck in life. You may have a hard time or difficulty somewhere along the line. News for you. You're not the first. You know, there's this book called the Bible. And there's a story about the children of Israel when they were held captive by the Babylonians. It was nasty. It was burdensome. It was terrible. What was interesting is somehow they didn't lose their cultural story, their cultural belief. And I think one of the reasons to that is that after the long day of work and labor and abuse or whatever, it says that they would go down to the river's edge. They would sneak off to the river's edge. And they had their harps and their lyres hidden in the weeds or the willows. And that they would take them out and they would play and they would sing and they would be rejuvenated. Do you have your harp hidden in the willows? After your tough times and experiences, do you know where to go to find your joy, to find your music, to find where it is you get to play and open yourself up to that creative flow once again? Open yourself to that infinite expression of the divine that can lift you above the pains and the difficulties and the challenges that are out there in life? Because you are a child of the divine. You are that divine vortex in which it is seeking to express itself and to flow into the world. Do not allow the world to deny that. We need you. We need you for a time such as this in our world. My goodness, there is enough heaviness and seriousness out there in the world. We need your joy. We need you to be happy anyway. Story of a young clerk at a hardware store. It was a long time ago. And there was extra product within the store they couldn't get rid of. So this young clerk said to the owner of the hardware store, I'll tell you what, why don't we just put a table out in the middle of the store, sell everything we got for a dime? It was a long time ago. You know what? Boom, it all moved. It worked so well that owner did that several more times. He did it again. And then that young kid came to the owner and said, hey, I got this idea. It's a great idea. You should listen to this. Okay, what is it? He said, why don't we open up a store and just sell everything all the time for a nickel and a dime? The guy said, what, you crazy? You're ridiculous. Well, the owner of that hardware store many years later would say that for every word that he told no to Woolworth, that it has cost him $1 million a word in the long run. You see, the new ideas are crazy because they're outside of what has been done. You know, this is how it's been done and this is what is working. Well, if you want something to work different, you got to do something different. And what is new is creative. It can be called crazy, local, wild, outrageous, but that's what a new idea looks like. But I also want to add, not every idea is a home run like a 5 and dime store, you know, because there's a lot of people who can give you do this, do this, do this. You can be jumping all over the place, jumping. No, you got to be able to, balance what's going on inside of you. Otherwise, you're in a world that gets stirred again. Then you got the burdens, and you got to go back to the willows to find your harp to get happy, and you got to go through all that. It's just easier to be connected to your happy thing on the way. But the world does have its challenges. It's recorded that Jesus, said, John said this in the 16th chapter, verse 33, where Jesus said, the world has tribulations, but behold, I have overcome the world. I've overcome those tribulations. What we believe is that that man is an example. What I can do, you can do. You can overcome the tribulations and the difficulties that are in life. The Hindu philosophy says that the infinite is the source of joy. Ask to know the infinite. Got that? The infinite is the source of joy, so ask to know the infinite. Where do you put your attention? That's where your energy goes. Where your energy goes, it flows and things manifest. In Sanskrit, it says that thou art God, and God enjoys being God. I like that one too, Behold your God, and God enjoys being God, so let God be God in you. God enjoys being God. Enjoy being that magnificent expression. And to do that, you got to let go of that addiction trying to make things happen. I started off, spiritual living is about grace, right? It's not about force. See, we get addicted to urgency. That's what Stephen Covey calls it anyway. He calls it an addiction to urgency, where you're forcing, manipulating, controlling, and making things go. He said that addiction to urgency is as life-threatening as a dependency on drugs or alcohol. I mean, it's going to mess you up inside. You got the stirring. You're trying to make things happen. It's the grace. It's not as if you don't move. When you're told to move, you move. But you wait until you are moved by the Holy Spirit. You wait until you're moved by the divine, where there's something inside of you. But if you're so caught up in this urgency of making things happen, you can't hear it. See, that's the problem with trying to make things happen. See, creativity is about allowing that flow to unfold in your life. Trying to make things happen cuts you off from that. All of a sudden, you can no longer hear from your meditative inquiries. You cannot hear the contemplations. You do not know, or you forget what the sound feels like. You begin to forget to pray and to remember, and the lowly listening and the visioning and all the spiritual practices, because you have this urgency, because it becomes quantity over quality. It becomes results over relationships. It becomes, oh my goodness, it becomes production over process. You have to realize that you got to let go a little bit. You got to surrender it. People may say, what's up? Why'd you stop? Come on. Got to make it work. You're the boss. Got to be a success. Feel less. Attack more. Move it, move it, move it. And the list goes on and on and on, which takes us exactly away from what I was talking about, the ease and the grace of the divine moving through your creative expression. You've been called for a time such as this to be that creative expression. The divine, what is your canvas? Mine, obviously, it's words. I write them, I talk them, I speak them, I dance with them. Others are a canvas. This is my canvas. What is your canvas? What is your expression? For some it's business, and that's beautiful, but it's about a graceful expression of the divine. It's not about forcing things into place. There was a couple guys. They were walking from one village to another village. So this was a while ago. And they were walking along the village edge. It was morning, and there was dew on the grass. Birds were singing. It was going to be a beautiful day. They're caught up in their conversation. And they're so caught up in the conversation, they don't realize that the riverbank is getting steep because it's running wild and rough down below. And one guy just slips, and as he slips, he grabs his buddy's legs. Don't let me go. And they both go in. And the guy who is just struggling continues to struggle. He continues to swim against the stream. He swims upstream. He tries to get to the river's edge, and he fights and fights until he's exhausted. And he finally just goes down from exhaustion and drowns. And the other guy, who broke away from him right away when they fell in, just floated down the river on his back and just allowed himself to go with the rushing river. And when there was a rock or something, he put his arm, kind of guided himself around the rocks or the logs. Eventually, the river just took him down to a sand embankment somewhere down the river, and he got out of the water. And to his surprise, he just happened to be to the village he was walking to anyway. You can fight it. And a lot of people have come into this world to fight. But what I've noticed is that creativity comes from flow, going with it. I mean, yes, we got to talk. This is where I stand. There's this young kid, just turned 16, got his learner's permit. And he went to his dad and said, "Hey, Dad, I just turned 16. Can I, borrow your car?" You just turned 16, son. Let's see. We can talk about it more, but first, what you got to do, you got to bring your grades up, because, he's slacking a bit. He was a minister, so I want you to read the Bible more. Oh, and I want you to get a haircut. I like that minister Christian. But, so a month later, the kid comes back to his dad and says, hey, Dad, and, well, what do you think? How am I doing? He says, Dad said, I'm proud of you. I can tell you've been studying the Bible. Your grades, they're improving. Nice job. But that haircut thing, you haven't got your hair cut. And he said, well, Dad, I've been studying the Bible. What I realized, Samson, he didn't cut his hair, right? Samson had long hair. And Moses, boy, I saw the movie. He had long hair. And Noah, he had long hair. John the Baptist had long hair. We could even make an argument that Jesus had long hair. And his dad said, son, you're right. But did you also notice they walked everywhere they went? What's important to realize is you want to know that there is a larger truth when you're dealing with things. Yes, we can get caught up in our position or the times of tribulation. We can get stuck in our perspective on things. But if we can learn to relax and realize that there's a larger truth here that wants to be known. There's something greater in this pain and this difficulty, because if you're in pain or if you had loss, of course it's right to grieve or to cry. I mean, you feel that. I don't want to sound Pollyanna, everything's wonderful and sweet all the time. We have things that happen in life that are brutal, unthinkable, and it's right to experience pain and cry. But you don't want to get lost there. You want to be happy anyway, because there is a larger truth here. And I want to know a larger truth. I need to let go of my certainty, which sounds a very strange thing to do, because my certainty, it is my rock. It is what gets me through all of this. But I also want us to realize that our certainty welds us to a position that makes it nearly impossible for the new expression to get in. Follow that? That when I am so certain, it doesn't leave room for the new idea of a 5 and dime that might work in the world, or a new concept of a telephone, or a new concept for transportation, or a new concept for the creative expression to lift you to a greater truth of what you are certain about. The certainty will block what's next, because I'm holding on. Now, there's nothing wrong with a certainty or a goal or a position and this is what I do, so that's all I can share, is if you hold it lightly. It is valuable if you have a certainty or a position or a goal or a direction. It's what gets you out on the field. It's what gets you in the game to win. But am I flexible enough to make the moves I need to move within that game? Have I done my homework enough to know that I am prepared to make the tack or the dance or the move that I need to move when that new opening arrives in my life and in my world? I know I have a certainty about God, that God is love, that God is beautiful, that God is joy, that God is abundance, and that is flowing. And I know that there is a greater truth. And as I am willing to get beyond my urgency and addiction to this sense of certainty and conviction, what happens is I begin to hear through the meditations and the listening the transcendence of what we're speaking about that is beyond words. I begin to experience the multidimensional aspect of that which is infinite and omnipresent that I've yet to put into words. But what is my palette, whether it is art or whether it is poetry or whether it is song or whether it is business or whatever it is, what becomes your place to share that greater truth that is emerging, because you are now free enough to say, I'm going to sing. I may not be fully tuned in. I may have tuned and untuned or strung my instrument a dozen times, but you know what? I'm getting in the game now. I am ready to trust that spirit that is beyond my certainty. I'm willing to surrender, even if they're saying, what are you doing? You're crazy. Come on, you're in there to win. All those kind of things. Because as I am willing to love the process, and that's the key here I want you to get, is that you've got to learn to love the process. But it's tough. You've got to love the process. Yeah, but I'm just starting out at this new store. Nickel and dime, it's going to take a while. You've got to love the process. You ever write a book? You got to love the process. You know, it takes some time to hone your skills, to develop your muscles, to be able to get out there on the field and play and dance with the Spirit in this thing called life. But as you begin to love the process, you let go or you surrender that attachment to the certainty. You surrender your attachment to the results and know that there's a greater truth that is pulling you beyond even what you saw was possible. And as you begin to listen, as you begin to feel, what happens is there is this emerging awakening to what is next. So if I'm willing to be happy anyway and love this process, this creative process, because it's going to lead me to what's next, which is really next week's talk, so I'll stop with that. But, you know, it's as you are willing to love the process and know that this is about creativity. And what's new is seeking to emerge itself as you, as your life, and your dharma, and what it is you love. And the way you were up to this point was one way, and you know what? And you may be doing something different now than you were doing in your 20s. Yeah. Though you loved it, and there's a fantasy and nostalgia that takes you back to that time of innocence. This is where you are now. Michael Levine, a wonderful writer, in his book, he wrote this story. And his book was Reflections from the First Half. He tells the story of taking a walk, and it was 100+ kind of day with rainforest kind of humidity, which means it's just wet and hot. And he was walking, and he came across one of his neighbors, an 83-year-old who was just kind of hunched over his cane. And as he was passing his neighbor, he said, "Hey, are you okay?" And the wise old guy just picked up his head and said, "It's the best day yet." Is that not a great position? And as I read that story, I couldn't help to think it's a lot better to be over the hill than under the hill, you know? You know, that this is the best day yet. And, you know, those who are complaining, and there are complainers out there. I mean, there's some people that just like to complain. They're always finding out what is wrong, who is wrong, and let me tell you why they're wrong. It's if that is how they are created in life, is that they're looking at what isn't working as opposed to saying, you got to love this process and it's leading me to what is next. They're doing research in the realm of what is not working so they can be avid complainers. They're the best complainers. You want to know what's wrong? Go to a complainer. They're the ones who like fill up their dump garbage truck. Yeah, and they just like back up their toxic complaint garbage and look for a place to dump it on. You don't have to be that person and that place. You know, I got to tell you something about those happy people. Like, you know, be happy anyway. Those happy people are the ones that care. You know, they know how to care, they know how to love, they know how to listen, they know how to be kind, they know how to heal, they know how to be present. It's the happy people, not the complainers. I mean, that's just a hint. I'm giving you, probably figured it out by now. But if you want to feel good in life, you want to be with a happy person, where they are the creative expression of the divine who brings forth this love and this caring and this compassion. And so what I want you to practice in these next 40 days is to take a look at this book I'm giving you. Every day, we're all going to be on the same page. My particular Sunday morning messages are on there every 7 days, and that's what we're going to do. We've got study groups. You know, we call them sacred circles. They're available to you. We have 100 spots. Most of them are filled up by now because you're at the second service and they were at the first. But if there's more than 100 people, which there probably is going to be, and you want to lead one of these circles, let us know. We'll let you go ahead and lead a group in your home because we've run out of leadership to lead these. So I need you to say yes to being willing to lead one of these groups. You know, there's something exciting that is going on. There's a creative expression of the divine that is moving through Seaside. Seaside is a thriving, vibrant, alive kind of place where our children are learning. It's about thinking, not how to think. It is a place where the classes and the circles lift one to a place of loving, caring, because there's a happy feeling that is going on. There is a transformation that is going on this planet, in this spiritual community, because there's people who are saying, you know what, there is a greater truth here, and I am going to be creative enough to let go of my certainty and be available to God. I'm excited to see what that looks like as your life. God bless us as we do it together. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring Margaret Owens back to our stage.
I paused in the light of morning and let you shine on me a while. I could feel your power upon me and the sweet warmth of your rays, they made me smile. And all the blades of the grass stood shimmering as if they understood. To be effortlessly bathed in your blessings is very, very good. And so it is, and so it shall be. We don't have to justify any more than the lilies of the field or the bird in flight has to bloom or has to fly. They do it 'cause they're called to. They do it 'cause it's what they've come here to be. And the moment you serve your own heart is the moment you are free. How strange that we toil and labor in guilt and blame and compromise, driven by the voice of doubt which drowns out what the inner truth belies. If we could just breathe and feel and listen to the lover's constant beat. God's the host of this great banquet and has invited us to eat. And so it is, and so it shall be. We don't have to justify any more than the lilies of the field or the bird in flight has to bloom or has to fly. They do it 'cause they're called to. They do it 'cause it's what they've come here to be. And the moment you serve your own heart is the moment you are free. There is enough, and there is time. There is no need, only endless supply of the good that surrounds us. And it's so freeing to know that we're love and here to navigate the river of well-being. And so it is, and so it shall be. We don't have to justify any more than the lilies of the field or the bird in flight has to bloom or has to fly. They do it 'cause they're called to. They do it 'cause it's what they've come here to be. And the moment you serve your own heart is the moment you are free.
That is Margaret Owens. Woo. How beautiful. Oh my goodness. Woo. It was beautiful. Thank you. I love that. Free. I like that free thing. Oh, wow. Well, hey, this is the moment where we have the opportunity to listen to our heart and our soul and our spirit and be free enough to say yes to giving at the level in which it wants to give. It's a time where we pause and we just reflect upon how Spirit has touched our life and choose to give and support Spirit's work that shows up in our life as Seaside. One cannot outgive Spirit, and as you give, it comes back. It's not why you give, but rather it's an extension of your consciousness. It is the activity that Spirit is having in your life, and it responds in your world through your activity. It's not about words and saying the right spiritual stuff, abundance. It is about being that avenue and that channel and being able to flow without strings, without attachments, just supporting Spirit. And what you'll find is Spirit supporting itself as your very life. For behold, thou art God, and God loves being God. So, as you. So, I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward at this time and say thank you to this wonderful team that is here week after week. And thank you to those that mail in your contributions when you can't be here on a Sunday, and those that remember us with the auto tithe, that regular systematic support from your world into Seasides. I mean, together we have created this place, together we sustain it, and together we move it through time. For the next generation, after we experience the healing and the love and the magic and the wonder that goes on within these walls, because it is the heart and the soul that goes on under the roof. That's what we're about. But with that, I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that truly this is a blessed moment where the fullness of the divine has its expression through each and every one of us, for we have become that divine vortex of that abundant flow of life. We are that channel that flows from that inexhaustible reservoir. And I know right now that as that grace of God moves through our individual lives, we give up the desire to force or manipulate or make things happen. We just surrender to thy will, not my will, and know that that brings with it all that is necessary to fulfill, to uplift, and to enrich the very expression of our walk in this world, in this thing called life. And so as I choose to be that divine channel of that abundant flow, what I find is that abundance shows up within our individual lives in ways that are right, real, relevant, and personal. And so we take that which has graced our individual life and we send it back forth into the world, knowing it blesses all those with whom it comes in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to pause and to practice that which is truly known. And so it is. Amen. Together, let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good is my life now. As I stand before this bounty, this wonderful expression of blessings and grace and love, I know right now that it's been given truly from that deep place of love and caring and compassion. It's truly been a divine expression that has moved through our individual lives, enriching the very core of our being. And it is received in love, it is handled in good stewardship, and it's sent forth back into the wonderful waves and currents of life, bringing the blessings to every woman comes in contact. So it's with a sense of joy that we go forth with this richness, feeling the love that has been given by each and every one that is here. And so it is. Amen. This is Edwin Robinson. He is one of your board members here at Seaside. Thank you. Margaret Owens, fabulous, wonderful. Thank you. My goodness, what a blessing you are to us here at Seaside. Rebecca, always a joy to share your spirit, your gifts, your love. Got your hubby with you here today. Woo! How fun. Guys, you're fabulous. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Sharing the stage this morning is the Reverend Lori Mack. Wednesday night right here. You can get more of her at 7 o'clock. And giving us sound today is Matthew. Giving us the visual is Marv. Nice job, guys. Know that there's CDs available right after the service if you would like one. And live streaming it to the world this morning is Tim Griffin and Steve Grant sitting right there next to him. And I want you to know at the convention, and I was at convention this week, and there were people from all over having heard and seen and experienced the wonderful message coming out of Seaside. So good things are happening. We are making a difference. So. Let's see. The last Sunday of the month is our prayer wall Sunday. It's when the practitioners stand up here and I pray, and then we sing ourselves out, and then you come on up and you receive a personal prayer from them. So I'd like to invite them up, and I guess we're good. Practitioners, come on up. Also, I just want to point out, if our kids had come in here now, I'd be talking to you about their masks, but they are so engrossed and engaged in their Mardi Gras mask that just imagine the feathers coming out and the sparkles and the bangles that they are preparing these wonderful, magnificent Mardi Gras masks to be worn by us all at the Mardi Gras party on March 14th, which happens to be my birthday. So it's going to be a big birthday bash with the Bayou Brothers and cake and crawdads. I don't know why people eat. No. Maybe we'll do some crawdad races again. That was terrible. Maybe we won't. Can you imagine eating Big Red? I guess not. I'm going to stop right now. It's about prayer. It is about healing. You know, the thrust of our movement has been about healing. It's not about the words. It is about the demonstration of having the healing show up in our life in those areas that are real to us. And so it is about opening up to God, letting go of any of the judgments and the certainties. Doesn't matter what the medical world says or the financial world. There is a greater truth. So in this moment, I invite you to let go of what seems solid in this physical world and open up to that wonderful flow of the divine, knowing that truly in this moment there's something that is far greater, that is transcendent. And it's in this multidimensional space that I come to know the very frequency and the vibration of God. I can hear it as music. I can feel it as life itself. It is the first breath. It is the first cause. It is that all-initiating initial pulse to life from which all unfolded. For if God is infinite, and all the great religions of the world say that, then there could be nothing else but spirit. So the truth of being is spirit. The truth of who you are is spirit expressing. I mean, you may not be all of the divine, but all that you are is of that. I know that in this moment I am spirit expressing, sharing this revelation, this divine truth with a sense of jubilation, of a deep knowingness that wonderful flow of God moves in this moment, bringing with it the blessings and the grace and the wonder and the good. For the glory of God has its way right here as our very awareness. And it's in this enlightened kind of awareness, there is a lightness for which I have been holding on to a position that I'm willing to let go of, because in letting go, I begin to be available for what is next. I become receptive to a greater truth. It is through this willingness to be the creative expression that I expand to a new place that I have yet to be, knowing that right there already is the fullness of God. And as I open my awareness to that greater expression, that greater creative expression, there comes that flow, there comes that abundance, there comes that health and well-being, for that divine spirit is in and through all things. There is no place where God is not, which means that spirit is right in the heart of your checkbook as much as out on the beach. There is as much spirit on Van Nuys Boulevard as there is on the sports field. I'll tell you that omnipresent totality of the divine is fully available everywhere. And as I come to feel that right now, as I begin to just resonate with that divine vibration of being, I speak forth that sense of wholeness for each and every member of this spiritual community. And so if there is any of us that are present today that is working on any particular kind of healing or realignment in our physical world or our mental world, our spiritual world, our financial world, it is all God. It is about the wholeness reemerging. It is letting go of what has been and stepping on to that new track of the greater yet to be that is seeking to express itself as our very life. Feel the sense and fulfillment of saying yes to what's stirring in the soul. That all of a sudden you once again hear that voice, that vibration, that inkling. You know what is your song to sing this time, and you stop stringing that instrument. And you start singing with a joy, with a lust, with a passion. And it is with this kind of divine flow that you come into a greater alignment and the healing happens in your body. The relationship gets passionate, juicy, and wonderful, and intimate, and honest. The abundance flows. Communication is clear. Life direction is uplifted. For there is a greater truth that is being known in this moment. And that each of us is creative enough to allow it to express within our individual lives that which is right. And so I know that healing is the natural expression of divine alignment. Every prayer in our prayer request chest is answered already in the mind of God. Our beloved member, Carolyn Murmack, made her transition this week. But she moves on with the wonderful currents of eternality, able to express herself in a body, once again, that is free and expressive. And for her son, David, and the grandkids, all members of Seaside that are at her service at 1 o'clock today, that they can feel the love of their family and their caring and their support. Something good's going on. I share this prayer for a beloved minister, Dr. Bob Grabowski, who underwent quadruple bypass yesterday surgery, who is fine, who's out, who's healing, that right where he is, the expression of God is, and healing is going on. For healing is the natural unfoldment and expression of spirit. There's nothing wrong with finding yourself in times of tribulation or challenge. But I know for each and every one of us that we are able to always shift our awareness to the greater truth with a sense of gratitude and thanksgiving and knowing that I'm loving the process and the journey, that I find an inner strength and a deeper knowingness of that which is invincible, that which has never been violated, that part that is the divine made manifest. And in this knowingness, I need not tell it what to do in my life, for spiritual living is allowing the grace to do what needs to be done in order, even before I know I have need. But I live with a gratitude and appreciation and that deep kind of trust, that deep kind of knowingness. I let go, because it's not my will, but thy will. I let go in a faith and a conviction that is unshakable. For the divine right action of my very life is now, and so it is.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. So no more struggle, no more strife. right. That's right, beautiful. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah.
So what do you think of their creative expression with those Mardi Gras masks? Fabulous. Hey, our affirmation for the week is, I'm a creative and courageous expression of the divine. Together, I am a creative and courageous expression of the divine. Touch your heart and say that again. I am a creative and courageous expression of the divine. One more time, like you mean it, and so I can hear it. I am a creative, courageous expression of the divine. And our song of grace.
I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living. We're living in love, we're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor our truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace.
Come on up, receive prayer, let them know, and just be receptive to the gift. Join us for cake, even lunch, but prayer, spiritual food.